friend. This is John. He's going for his pro card at the USA next month.
Nice, man. I'm from Argentina.
In France, he's going for his pro card. Where are you?
I'm going to Spain, to Alicante.
That's right, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, to the
So you're both
Europa
going for pro status.
Yeah.
It's kind of bigger, you know, but I still have my chances also, man.
Yeah, but here's the good thing. You're going to be here the whole entire time where he has to go back to Virginia.
No, okay.
So you got the advantage.
I got it in my favor, bro.
Yeah, awesome.
So much to meet you, bro. My pleasure. Always my pleasure.
Yeah, they saw you on the video, so I wanted to introduce. So, all right. Good to see you. All right. All right, guys, Dave and Max 6 are back at the Dragon's Lair, Las Vegas, and I have the great pleasure to have a good guy from Virginia. Made all the trip just to shoot for JayTV. We've been in touch for a few months, and John's actually doing the USA. John Rivas, thank you so much for coming here. And you brought your nutritionist, Justin Harris. Justin, good to have you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Justin and I actually go way back since 2003 on Chad Nichols' Muscle Mayhem.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. John is young, only 31 years old.
Turned 31.
31 years, a baby in this game, and I'm so happy that you actually made the commitment to come all the way to Vegas just to do this. We're about a month out from the USA. Less?
Yeah, say about 5.5.
5.5 weeks. Okay. So it's gonna come fast.
Yeah, and you know it's just speaking with you the last few months, it's truly an honor to be able to come out here and work out at Flex's gym and film for Color TV. So no, thank you.
You're a big supporter of the brand. You're always using Color product. Jay appreciates it and likes your story and all that stuff. And he was glad that. When I told him you were coming, and you will also work with another friend of mine, Chris Cormier, the Real Deal, which we love. He helps you with your posing and all that stuff.
Yeah, big shout out to Chris. I recently went to after my last show, Kevin DeHaven's show down in South Carolina.
Oh, I know Kevin. He's good friends with Jay, best friends. Yeah,
so runs great shows over in the East Coast. So the first show I did about 3 or 4 years ago when I first started bodybuilding, I did his show in Richmond, Virginia, the Color Classic, and I was able to win my class. I was actually sort of like a pro powerlifter, and I set the all-time world record for the 242-pound division.
Wow!
And so
sort of like the all-time strongest 242-pounder.
But that was fun and that was a great experience. But I started getting a few tweaks, and I was like, dude, I'm like 25, and something just didn't feel right. And we do these sports, it's sort of like an intrinsic thing where we do it for ourselves, and a lot of the times. Us as amateurs and a lot of guys out there that are just going to the gym, we don't get paid for this. So if you lose sort of the fire inside, you sort of got to find something else to either bring it back or just do something else to make your life good. So I decided about 10 weeks out, I called my best friend, Duranda Mason. I've known him forever, and I said, hey man, I think I'm going to do the Color in about 12 weeks. And he, he's being real with me. He's like, you sure? You're going to have to work. And so I worked with a local guy who turned pro, Curtis Bryant. He's an awesome coach, and he was able to get me in shape in about 8 weeks, and I won my class.
Wow!
And ever since then, it's been hardcore training, and just did Kevin's show down in South Carolina this year as a super heavyweight. So in the past, I'd say 3 years, I've put on about 30 pounds.
Wow!
30 pounds of stage weight.
Wow!
And since the show in March, working with Justin and Tropony Nutrition, I've put on 10 pounds of stage weight.
Wow!
In about 3 months. So.
That's a lot.
Yeah, he just competed in March at what, like 230 something?
I was probably
you were barely a super.
I was barely a super, and
he's in the mid 250s right now. So
wow.
Yeah, so we're pretty lean, seeing veins everywhere, and we're about low 250s, 253, I think was the other morning.
It's kind of misleading where he's at, because he's 5.5 weeks out, but he's not 5.5 weeks out like he had a 16-week prep, because he was just in shape in March. And so we just started really bringing him down for this show pretty recently. So he's only a few weeks into the prep. It's not because he was already still fairly lean from the March contest.
Yeah, so things have gone well. First it's going to be the first national show.
First one ever.
First one ever.
Are you nervous?
Being able to compete in the IPF and powerlifting in the world stage and Team USA and stuff like that, I've been able to, fly to competitions and been in pretty big competitions that. It sort of takes the scare out of things. You sort of get a little used to the stage, the limelight and stuff like that. Okay. So, I'm excited. In this sport, we put in so much work outside that when you get to the competition, it's almost the easiest part.
Yeah.
You got to peak well, you know, and that's why we've got great coaches like here, like Justin. But outside of that, I mean, if you put in the work and you bust your butt, you're going to get good results. So, you know, everything else, I can't worry about what someone else is going to come or what someone else is going to bring and stuff. You know, there's enough pro cards out there that if I earn my pro card, I've earned my pro card. And if I miss it by second place or third place or whatever, as long as I brought a great package and I know I'm on the right track to reach my goals and reach my pro card, then for sure, like that's still fine. That's still fine. So.
Well, at the rate that you're progressing right now, that's very encouraging, right? I mean, if you actually put on 10 pounds in just like a few weeks, it's, you know, I mean, even if you don't win this one, like you said, if you keep making those kind of progress, it's not going to take long, you know. So, what kind of work do you do back home, John?
So
your day job.
So I went to Virginia Military Institute and I graduated with a degree in economics and business, and I went sort of into like business area stuff for a while. Worked in Atlanta, worked in Virginia, and but after that I sort of got burnt out. And I personal trained for a year. And tried to sort of find my path. And then I went back to school for IT. So I got another degree in sort of a basic IT degree with a concentration in cybersecurity.
Oh, wow.
And I do IT for pretty much the biggest hospital in Chesapeake, Virginia,
wow.
over in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a full-time job, and you know, I'm up every morning at 5 o'clock, cooking my food, doing my cardio, making sure I drive to work on time. You know, we're dealing with, it's not just, hey, I've got to have this report done, I've got to have this Excel file fixed by the end of the week so I can get these reports done. It's a doctor calls up and says, hey, this person's on the table about to have a pregnancy. If I don't get this program running, we can't do anything because we don't know the medicine to give and stuff like that. So it's a little stressful, but I enjoy it. And sometimes it's a little hard. My coworkers have to deal with me. You know, I get real quiet when I'm tired, but you know, I still show up to work and still put in the time. So you know. What
time do you get to train during the day? After work?
After work, so I usually about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So you know, I'll be at work 7 to 8ish. I'm up at 5. Cook my food up to work 7 to 8. I eat all my meals throughout the day, in and out of the hospital, in the office, in patient rooms, things like that. You know, during COVID times, things were a little bit more hectic.
Yeah.
But once again, we still made it through. And then I get off work around, I would say, about 4 o'clock, 4:30.
Okay.
Get home, eat another meal, and then I go home and train, or I go to the gym and train, and get back. And then my girlfriend sometimes, like, we want to watch movies and stuff, and I'll tell, like, hey, I've got to cook my food, I've got to get ready to start the day over again. And you know, it's sort of
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's a little monotonous, but you know, once again, if you have a goal and you've got something greater, you work towards it. So,
what would you like to do with bodybuilding? I mean, you're going for your pro card right now. So, let's say you get pro status. You obviously have a career. It's not just like a regular job, you know. So you actually put some study and some time into this. You actually took the time to, you know, better yourself. So, what would you like to do ideally with bodybuilding?
With bodybuilding, it's always been a dream. Honestly, even when I was powerlifting, you know, I think I've watched, I don't know if you can like watch a DVD too much and burn it out like a VHS tape, but if you can, then I definitely did, because I watched Pumping Iron so many times, and I wanted to have the back lat spread like Franco, and I wanted to have the arms like Arnold, and the posing like Ed Cormier. And if there's something I can do with bodybuilding, it's just when I reach the goal that I think my physique should look like, which is equivalent of the mass, of the conditioning, but almost like a piece of art that, you know, some people look at it and they want attention for it and this and that, or they do it because they want the girls or whatever. I've never done it for that. I remember people used to ask me and they would say, you know, oh, I bet you try to, you know, get it for this girl and that girl. I'm like, no, like I don't even think about that. I want to be able to go on stage and, you know, I want to be able to pose like Sean Ray. You know, I want to turn like Chris Cormier and Flex Wheeler and hit a most muscular like Kevin LeBron, because to me it's just, you know, just like someone can stand in front of a Van Gogh and stare at it for 20 minutes, the way that you can create the body into art, that's what I like to see. So
do you actually enjoy the performance of the stage? Because so many bodybuilders, and one come to mind to me is Tom Prince. Yeah. Love the training, love the dieting, love the journey, love to get in shape, but hated the actual competing part. He says that's like a beauty pageant, and he hated that.
Yeah.
So not everybody actually likes it, but we do it because you put so much time into it. It's kind of like, you know, I mean, you like it?
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
And coming from a powerlifting world, Justin knows what that's about. You know, when you go in the warm-up room and guys are 350 pounds covered in tattoos, there's no pretty boys back there, you know? So I used to get looks and stuff. They would, you know. But no, I do like all aspects of it. You know, I fell in love with the sport, and it's just something that, you know, as you grow with the sport, your goals change a little bit. But I do want to turn pro, and I don't want to just get a pro card and sit on the sidelines or, you know, just use Instagram to say I have a pro card. I want to compete. You know, I want to step on the Arnold stage one day, and hopefully the Mr. Olympia stage one day, and be able to, you know, say I did my best. And, you know, if I win, I win. I'm going to do everything I can to win. But, you know, if I don't, as long as I give my best, that's all I can do.
Would you like to eventually like support yourself only with bodybuilding, if possible?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that would be something awesome. You know, we're still trying to figure out ways to do that. And, you know, right now, since we're just still an amateur and getting started, there are more avenues opening up and things like that. So we definitely are going to take full advantage of those opportunities. But yeah, if I can, 100%, that would be a dream.
How do you feel about social media being so prevalent in our sport now? It used to be in the past, if you were a good bodybuilder, you were getting a magazine contract and supplement contract, and you know you were able to make a living that way. Now it's kind of like gone. There's no more magazine. There's still a few supplement company where you can get, you know, some contract, but I don't think the money is as high as it used to be. As an athlete and as a bodybuilder, how do you feel about all these influencer and all these Instagram and all that stuff? I'm kind of curious to see how you feel about that.
So I've come from an old school mindset where, you know, I was raised in powerlifting by guys like Monty Sparkman and Steve Goggins. When I came up in the sport, my thing was, and it was pre-Instagram, you do the work, you get the results, you get the fame, you get the notoriety. That was the way I always did it.
Yeah.
And then when I started seeing guys through Instagram and social media get more likes and get more people at the expos. I remember I'd be working an expo, and I was with Team Iron Rebel for a while when I was powerlifting, and I would see certain guys that weren't competitors at all, and their lines were down the block.
Yeah.
And then you got guys, Mike Christian just walking by, no one even recognized him. You know, I mean, they would recognize him, but they wouldn't have lines like these other guys. And I started thinking, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know, and I tried to fight it for a while, like probably most old school guys would, but you can't. You know,
old school guy, he's 31 years old.
Like, I'm old school mindset, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's try to expand and stuff. And more recently, I've been trying to grow social media and just
we don't really have a
expand that
choice.
way.
That's what kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Well,
You don't really have a
yeah,
choice.
yeah.
You have to do Instagram. You have to do YouTube. You have to do you know, TikTok or whatever it is.
It's just the way
Instagram
it is
also.
these days. I mean, the good thing is there's more money in the sport, totally than there used to be. It used to be easier to get for the people who deserved it, probably.
Yes.
But now, you know, I mean, there's billions of dollars in the fitness industry.
Yes.
It's just not coming in a Weeder contract or a Flex magazine contract anymore.
Yeah.
You got to find. But it is what it is. You know, if you wanna.
I know, you kind of have to play that game.
gotta
Justin,
play the game.
do you have, he was telling me earlier you're making videos, so do you have a YouTube channel or?
No, yeah, I do, but it's not.
It's not really current?
I think I know my name, Troponin Nutrition.
Yeah. I've heard that name,
Yeah, but I think that's my YouTube name. I mean, I'm the same way. I struggle with the social media. I mean, I have a decent following on Instagram. I miss the old days with the forums and stuff, but you know, you gotta evolve.
Yeah. So how do you recruit athletes, just word them out, or how do you put yourself out there?
Completely word of mouth. I mean, I've been doing it since my first client was probably 2001.
Okay,
with
wow.
Like a website, 2003-ish, you know. And
okay.
It's snowballed from there. And I don't advertise. It's all word of mouth, and so.
You're like Starbucks.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, you know, but you don't need, you know, you don't need 700 clients.
Right.
You know, 200 really good followers, and you. So, you know, I coach and do e-books. I own commercial real estate too.
Okay,
like
nice.
Car wash and storage units.
Great. How did you guys meet, John?
So like, it's a funny story. When I first started, I was probably like 15. You know, I didn't party in high school, didn't party in college. But I remember watching videos of a guy squatting a ton of weight, and he had this really like developed physique, and I was like, man, I'd love to look like that guy one day. And it was Justin, and I sort of lost track of him over the years. I went into powerlifting. You know, I could care less about bodybuilding and whatnot, but then I saw him pop up about a year ago, And I reached out to him. Yeah, he's probably gonna ignore me. You know, whatever. I wasn't in the best of shape, but I was still working really hard. Never stopped. But he reached back and he's like, yeah, dude, I'd love to work with you and stuff like that. So we probably did about, I would say at least 5 or 6 months, and then we started a prep. Probably end of Thanksgiving or end of November, Thanksgiving last year, and then we did the show in March, and then we've had April, May, and it's June now, and then we'll be competing in USAs. So my whole thing is, you know, when you find something that works, you stick with it. And Justin's been an awesome coach and mentor, and we just work well together, and I'll be able to shoot him. You know, I don't like bothering him, honestly, even though he doesn't even mind. But you know, I don't want to text him at like 12 o'clock at night. But you know, sometimes I'll shoot him a text like, "What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" Just right away respond. He's been a great help, and yeah, so it's been awesome working with him. And you know, I know that him and I are both trying to use our channels and stuff to get, you know, more popularity and whatnot, to expand our view on things and whatnot. But going back to the social media thing, I think it can be like really good. There's a little bit of, you know, trolling in there that you sort of have to ignore. I think everyone goes through it. But I think it gives such an opportunity for when, let's say I was 15 when I first started watching Justin. If back then I was able to just talk to Justin, you know, I probably could have learned so much more back then if I was just able to communicate. And now people can communicate, so I think that's where we want to go and bring positivity.
That's true. It's easier to learn. I mean, YouTube.
So much easier.
Yeah, YouTube.
Waiting for like, I mean, you have to wait for the magazine. I remember
6 months behind every time. Yeah,
I remember like for 3 months you'd wonder who won the Olympia.
Yes.
You know, you'd be calling your buddies, seeing if anyone heard.
Oh, you called Gold's Venom and they would put the list on the front counter. You know? I know.
Yeah, so like that aspect.
Yeah.
But it's just the thing that's frustrating with me with social media is like, because John to me is the kind of guy you want to follow. You know, he's got a relationship. You know, he's got multiple degrees, a real job. He was literally the strongest person who ever lived at 242 pounds at one point. You know, and you know, the guy that trains hard, is strong. He does all the things, you know, like that makes you a complete person. But unfortunately, it's hard to.
I'm not the best at self-promoting.
Yeah, that's the hard
thing. I need to learn how to do that.
Well, you're on JayTV now, so I'm sure that's going to help.
That's right. This is a great opportunity. That's right. We're taking a good step.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, John, we're 5.5 or 5 weeks out from the USA. Justin, are you going to go to? Can you go, or it's going to be tough, huh?
Well, I have 4 kids.
Oh my God!
So
Okay.
I have 4 kids.
I thought you only had one, so this was the fourth one.
I have
okay,
4,
guys.
Yeah, 4 daughters.
Wow.
You know, and it's
it's not easy to get away.
It is different. Well, I would love to be at every show. The hard thing with me is with the amount of clients I have someone competing, especially like in the spring and fall, or the summer, from March through November, every weekend.
Oh wow!
And so, I mean,
it's tough to go anyway.
Yeah, and so it's always hard to find like what's fair, you know, because I'd love to go, but then if I go to the USA,
someone else
and
suffers.
I don't go to the national.
Yes,
I'd like to go. We'll see. I mean, I'd like to go because I have quite a few people. I'm actually working with another client of mine who just turned pro in women's physique. We're trying to kind of create like a business model where she actually would be like at show handler.
Gotcha.
Kind of be like my you know, knows all the things I want people to have backstage and all the things that I would be for the client if I can't be there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'd like to be at the USA's. We'll see.
You may have to. Now you're on camera.
I know.
And you're invested, and they'll be looking for you if he wins.
The hard thing is, like you said, the hard thing is, like you said, thanks for coming here to Vegas. Like, I mean, it's not hard to pull my leg to get me out. You know, I mean.
I know, but if you come from another state, I will always appreciate when people, even if you come from San Diego, it's 5-hour drive.
Yeah, but look outside. I mean, it's an easy sell.
I know. But you guys came from Michigan, you came from Virginia. We so appreciate you making the trip to come over here. And it's John, you have a great attitude. You have a lot of talent. You're young. You have everything on your side, and you have a great coach. Between Justin and Chris, I think you're in good shape to do very well. To do very well at that show. And I think you just need time. If it doesn't go your way, I think you just need time, and you need consistency. You know that.
Because we're not going to stop. So
that's it, man. You know? Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming to Las Vegas at the Dragon's Lair. I'm going to make sure to put all the Instagram and all the websites and all the contact info for you guys so people can reach you.
Awesome.
And we wish you the best of luck at the USA in 5 weeks.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so
much.
Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
Thanks, Dave.